people of the world.
You are watching 100 Degree TV on YouTube. Here is what you missed on the 100 Degree Show with Butch Harris.
Is really saddening, but I don't know how much condolences, how many thoughts and prayers you send out at this point, because it's like the thing that we are looking for, going back to the promised land teaching from a few weeks ago, it has to be born within us. No one is giving it to us. There's no marching towards it, and there's no protesting for it. We have to realize it in our hearts. We have to understand that we are the children of promise. We are those people, and it's our birthright, and we must begin to visualize and perceptualize and to realize it from a personal perspective and a collective perspective. And no matter what the enemy does, it doesn't penetrate, and it wouldn't penetrate to that degree, because we would be removed. We would be removed from it. We would have created a new reality among ourselves. But we are still trapped in the matrix to so much, or to so many degrees, I guess you can say. We're still trapped in it. And people would say, no, well, I'm not in the matrix. I don't believe in that, and I don't believe in what they're doing, and I don't subscribe to it. But where are you spending your money? We can just start with that. The currency. Where's the flow of your life? The things that you submit your time and your energy to, and what it produces, what is that connected to, and where is it being sown into? So as we look at this thing, this is taken on a better picture as to what the Lord would like to say today through me. But you see, we can come out and we can have our own banks. Kudos. We can have our own food chains. Kudos. We can have our own whatever. Kudos. But it becomes the system that it's within. What is it hinged on? What is it built on? What is it a part of? That becomes the thing that we have to really look at. And the closer you examine this thing, something cataclysmic has to happen for the coming out to take place, the true and total exodus to take place, because we're not living in the days of the exodus with Moses. We're not living in those days where everything was pretty much working from a natural and a biological standpoint. And we spoke about this before, where everything was agricultural, and everything and everyone in the land relied and they depended upon nature, and they were one with their surroundings, meaning nature, and everyone had that ability to exercise that right. So there was I guess a more level playing field from the perspective of, well, people weren't manipulated by things that were outside of the realm in which God created them to function. So we can say, for all intents and purposes, that that was a different time, and the scriptures are written on a different timeline in history. It's written on a different frequency, and the frequency it's more akin to the Most High, and it's more natural, and it's more biological. It's more in streaming in time with nature, right? But you look at today, and you look at what we are doing, and you've got to ask yourself, not like they didn't have technology back in those days. Now, let's just be honest about it. It might have been more analog and biological technology. But you look at what we're doing today with the artificial intelligence, and everything is moving into a hyper digital age, and you look at this, and this is everything that is totally opposing to nature. When you really consider it, God isn't dwelling in that space. God doesn't dwell in that space. I'll venture that far to make that statement. He might be able to affect it, because it still depends in so many ways on natural substances to power it and to cause it to have, its vibrancy. But for the most part, what's going on in there, what we have created or we have allowed to be created by fallen entities through us, God isn't really rocking with that. I'll go that far to say that, right? So when our whole lives it's based around an app, or our whole lives is based around a website or artificial intelligence or some type of code outside of anything that's natural, even our food is being grown in labs right now, and everything is artificially produced, whether it's GMOs or whatever the case may be. When we really look at what we're living in, if we want to get back to God, it's like all of that needs to be demolished, because we don't understand. You can't put God on top of that. God is too heavy for that. That's sinking sand, right? That's building a house on sand. And the storms of life that are raging right now, the people who don't have enough resources to pick up the pieces when this is done, and not necessarily talking about George Floyd #2, but the people who don't have the resources and the wherewithals to pick up the pieces when this wave of cleansing that's going on in the land, when that it's done, you will be no more, period. And the people who are left, more than likely, they would be given the opportunity to waltz into this new world of everything, this hyper digital age, this artificial intelligence age, this space discovery and exploration and colonizational age. And we would now find a new place in our being to be reclassified as a different type of human being. So people have argued with me, but God can work with technology. God's got his own technology. We refuse to use it. It's called a brain. It's called a soul. It's called a nervous system. It's called a sensory system. It's called perception. It's called all of these things, and it's a beautiful computer, biological and analog computer, and we refuse to use it. It's so bad that we ridicule and we make fun of the people who have tapped into this technology and who uses this technology on a daily basis, and we relegate it to being supernatural or tapping into supernatural things, and we relegate it to being into spookism and fairy tales and all of this kind of stuff. But this is actually the real reality that we were born to dwell and live in. I made, comments in the past about when Adam named all of the birds of the air, the fish of the sea, and the cattle of the land. And I said, well, so what do we think Adam had? Some type of jetpack, that he went up in the air and, he named all of the birds of the air, because there's certain birds, they don't come down here. Not like that. They may come down to get something to eat, but they don't stick around long enough for you to fraternize with them. So how did he name those birds, right? And I went as far as saying, well, did he have scuba gear when he named, the pilot whales and all of the humpback whales and the type of whales, the mammals that hardly ever come to the surface? How did he name them, right? So because we know that that wasn't the case, we would relegate that to supernatural abilities, being able to hold your breath underwater indefinite periods of time, or being able to we'll venture into saying levitate or fly or move beyond space and time into atmospheres to do your business, for lack of better words, as we saw Jesus did in his accounts of walking on water and being teleported from one side of the lake to the other side of the lake in a moment's notice. And the same with Philip, and other people went through all of the great things that they did because they had this supernatural analog and biological technology working in them. So we do have the technology. We are these people, but they've shut that reality off, or they're about to shut it off totally. And it's going to be illegal really soon to do anything from a supernatural or miraculous standpoint in your person, in your own being. So you go laying hands on somebody who's sick and they recover, and it's caught on video camera. They come in to look for you because, you're a terrorist. You're using strange technologies that they can't understand. So now you have to be chained up in a cell somewhere, or you have to be confined to an institution to be studied, because we know you can do that, but they're saying you can't. And for that reason, they got the reason to take you off the street and take you out your house. And these are the days we're living in. So as we look at this thing for what it is, we're moving into this thing at a rapid speed, and I don't know if people are really understanding. I don't know. I understand, but I struggle to understand the depths of it, because what I can perceive from my natural perspective, and even what I see in the spirit, it's far greater than that. But I know this is a time like we're never seen before, and this is the last stand. This is our last stand to do what we must do, and we must do it quickly, because time has ran out.
Thank you for watching 100 Degree TV on YouTube. Please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to this channel if you find our content valuable, and be sure to join us for the next presentation.